Welcome to our channel Valuable Coins All World. In this video, I gave you information about United States of America Washington quarter dollar, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please see this full video. Thanks. Top 1. The 1965 Washington quarter dollar is a coin that has captured the attention of collectors and investors for decades. While most people might view a quarter as just a small piece of currency worth 25 cents, the 1965 Washington quarter has become one of the most sought-after coins in American numismatics. So, what makes this coin so special? Let's dive into its history, value, and what could potentially make this 1965 quarter worth a jaw-dropping amount of money. To start, it's important to understand the context surrounding the 1965 Washington quarter. The United States Mint was going through a significant change during the early 1960s. The country was experiencing a shortage of silver, which led the U.S. government to alter the composition of its coins. The quarter, which was originally made of 90% silver, was transitioned to a copper-nickel alloy beginning in 1965. This change meant that most of the quarters minted from that year on no longer contained silver, a shift that drastically changed the value of these coins as precious metals became less involved in their makeup. However, not all 1965 quarters were created equal. In fact, a small number of 1965 Washington quarters were accidentally struck with a silver planchet, meaning they retained some of the precious metal that had been phased out of regular circulation coins. These silver planchets, which were meant for dimes or other coins, ended up being used by the mint during the production of quarters, creating a rare error that is now a highly valuable collector's item. When looking at this coin, the distinguishing factor is its metallic composition. Most 1965 Washington quarters are made of a copper-nickel alloy, but the ones struck on silver planchets have a distinctive, higher-pitched sound when dropped, and they appear slightly different in weight when compared to regular quarters. In addition to the silver content, these silver-era quarters also have a unique shine and luster that appeals to collectors. Now, let's talk about the value of this rare-era coin. Because of its historical significance and the extremely low number of these silver-struck 1965 Washington quarters, they are incredibly hard to find in circulation. The value of these coins can vary depending on their condition, but a coin in excellent shape, especially one that has been graded by a professional numismatic grading service, can fetch an impressive sum. It's not uncommon for these coins to be sold at auction for thousands of dollars, but the highest known sale of a 1965 silver quarter has been recorded at an eye-popping price. In fact, one such coin sold for a staggering $86,000. If you're lucky enough to come across one of these rare 1965 silver Washington quarters in your pocket change, don't dismiss it just yet. A quick check of its weight, sound, and visual characteristics could turn a modest quarter into a valuable piece of American history. So, whether you're a seasoned coin collector or a casual observer, remember that sometimes the most ordinary-looking coins can hold extraordinary value. In the world of coin collecting, errors like this one remind us of how fascinating the history of American currency truly is. Coins are more than just money. They are pieces of history that can tell stories about the time in which they were minted. And for the 1965 Washington quarter, that story is one of rare mistakes, exceptional value, and the thrilling potential of finding a hidden treasure. In summary, if you happen to come across a 1965 Washington quarter, it could be worth more than you think. Whether it's in a collection or accidentally found in your pocket change, this coin could potentially be worth $86,000, a sum that would certainly make any coin collector sit up and take notice. Top 2. The 1979 Washington quarter is one of those coins that may seem ordinary at first glance, but if you take a closer look, you might just find yourself holding a piece of history that could be worth a surprising amount of money. While the 1979 quarter is often overlooked in the world of coin collecting, it has some unique features and quirks that make it highly desirable to collectors, especially when it comes to certain rare varieties of this coin. So, what is it about the 1979 Washington quarter that makes it so valuable? Let's dive into the details. To understand the significance of the 1979 Washington quarter, we first need to take a quick look at the history of the coin itself. The Washington quarter, which first debuted in 1932, features the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse and a majestic eagle on the reverse. Over the years, the design of the quarter has seen only minor changes, but in 1979, something interesting happened that would make this year's quarter stand out among its counterparts. In 1979, the U.S. Mint produced the Washington quarter with some subtle design differences and struck the coins using different methods, which ultimately led to a variety of errors. These errors were relatively minor but crucial enough to make certain 1979 quarters extremely rare and valuable today. One of the most well-known varieties of the 1979 quarter is the wide rim variety. This error is a result of a misalignment during the minting process, which caused the rim of the coin to appear much wider than usual. As a result, these quarters have a distinctive appearance compared to other 1979 Washington quarters. The misalignment and the wide rim give the coin a unique look that stands out to collectors who know what to look for. Another significant error for the 1979 quarter is the double die variety, where the design on the obverse, particularly the date and lettering, appears doubled. This happened due to a mistake during the engraving process when the die was improperly made, causing the details to be struck more than once. These double die 1979 quarters are incredibly rare and are among the most coveted coins by serious numismatists. The value of a 1979 Washington quarter depends heavily on its condition and whether it possesses any of these rare features. A standard 1979 quarter in average condition is worth just its face value of 25 cents, but the value can skyrocket if the coin is in excellent condition or has any of the aforementioned errors. The wide rim quarters and double die varieties, especially in high-grade conditions, have been known to fetch thousands of dollars at auctions. If you happen to find one of these rare 1979 Washington quarters in your pocket change or while going through a collection, it's worth examining it closely. An error coin like the double die or wide rim can significantly increase the value, and a coin in mint condition, one that has been graded professionally by a numismatic service, can often sell for much more. In fact, some collectors have been willing to pay incredibly high prices for a 1979 Washington quarter that features these rare traits. One particularly rare specimen of a 1979 quarter, one with the double die error, sold for an astounding $52,000, a reminder that even the most seemingly insignificant coins can hold immense value if they have a story to tell. For those of us who aren't professional numismatists but still have a keen eye for detail, it's important to know what to look for. The 1979 Washington quarter might just be one of those coins hiding in plain sight, and with the right knowledge and careful inspection, you might just find yourself in possession of a valuable treasure. In conclusion, while most 1979 Washington quarters are worth just 25 cents, the rare varieties with error strikes, like the wide rim and double die coins, can reach jaw-dropping values. If you're lucky enough to stumble upon one of these error coins, you could be holding a valuable piece of American numismatic history, potentially worth $52,000, a price that will surely make any collector's heart race. Top 3. The 1990 Washington quarter dollar might not be the first coin that comes to mind when you think of rare or valuable collectibles, but in the world of numismatics, there are always hidden gems waiting to be discovered. Many people simply see a quarter as just another piece of pocket change, but there are certain years, like 1990, where the coin holds unexpected value. So, what makes the 1990 Washington quarter so intriguing to collectors and investors? Let's take a closer look at its history, its potential for error varieties, and just why this quarter might be worth far more than you would expect. The 1990 Washington quarter is part of the long-running series of quarters that feature the profile of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. While the design of the Washington quarter has remained mostly unchanged over the years, certain mints during particular years can produce coins with unique characteristics that set them apart from the rest. In 1990, one of the key factors that makes this quarter notable is the potential for rare minting errors that could make it much more valuable than its face value of 25 cents. One of the first things to understand about the 1990 Washington quarter is that the U.S. Mint was still producing these coins in large quantities, with most of them being made from a copper-nickel clad composition. These regular issue quarters, when found in average circulation, typically don't carry much more value than what they're worth on the face of it. However, not all 1990 quarters are created equally. Some of them feature unique errors, and it's these rare coins that have become highly sought after by collectors. One of the most valuable errors that can be found in a 1990 Washington quarter is the double die variety. This occurs when the coin's design is struck more than once, causing certain features, like the date or the inscriptions on the coin, to appear doubled or blurry. These errors are caused by a misalignment or a problem during the minting process, and they can make the coin far more valuable than a standard, well-struck quarter. The 1990 Washington quarter also has a few other interesting varieties that might catch the eye of a discerning collector. There are certain instances where the minting process causes subtle shifts in the coin's design, like the size or position of certain details. These slight deviations can give the coin a unique look, and when combined with other factors like wear, grade, and rarity, these quarters can reach impressive prices at auctions and sales. But it's not just the errors that add value to the 1990 Washington quarter. The overall condition of the coin is another critical factor in determining its worth. A coin that has been well preserved, with minimal wear and a shiny, original finish, will almost always be more valuable than one that's been through years of heavy circulation. Coins that are graded highly by professional services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, are typically sold for higher prices, especially if they feature rare qualities or mistakes in terms of value. The 1990 Washington quarter might seem relatively modest at first glance, but some of the rare, high-quality examples have been sold for prices that would surprise even the most seasoned collectors. While most 1990 quarters are worth only their face value, certain error varieties, especially those with significant defects like double dies or other minting anomalies, can sell for thousands of dollars. These coins are incredibly rare, and finding one in mint condition only adds to their appeal. If you happen to come across a 1990 Washington quarter with the right combination of factors, you could be holding on to something worth far more than just a quarter. Some of the most valuable 1990 Washington quarters have fetched as much as $40,000, which is an extraordinary amount for a coin that many people would overlook at first glance. The bottom line is this: if you're a coin collector or simply someone who enjoys going through pocket change, keep your eyes peeled for 1990 Washington quarters. While they may look like just another run-of-the-mill coin, some of them could be hiding rare errors or unusual characteristics that make them extremely valuable. The next time you're checking your loose change or browsing through old collections, remember that the 1990 Washington quarter could be worth far more than just 25 cents, possibly even $40,000, a price that would certainly make any collector excited. Top 4. The 1995 Washington quarter dollar may seem like just another piece of American currency to the average person, but in the world of coin collecting, it holds a fascinating story and some surprising value. Most quarters minted in 1995 are simply everyday coins that have circulated through wallets and vending machines. But there's a small but growing number of collectors and investors who are on the lookout for particular varieties of this quarter that could be worth far more than its face value. So, what makes the 1995 Washington quarter stand out, and why should you care about it? Let's dive into the details and see how this seemingly ordinary coin can be a goldmine for the sharp-eyed collector. The Washington quarter itself has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1932, and it features the iconic image of George Washington on the front. Over the years, the coin has been minted in numerous versions and has seen slight changes in design and composition. By 1995, the U.S. Mint was producing quarters made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, which meant that the coin had a lower intrinsic value than its silver predecessors. However, while the material may not be worth much in terms of precious metal content, the 1995 Washington quarter holds potential for rare varieties that make it highly desirable to collectors. Now, let's talk about the key factor that makes certain 1995 Washington quarters so valuable: error coins. When a coin is struck with an unintended mistake or irregularity during the minting process, it becomes a mint error. These errors, although relatively rare, can significantly increase the value of the coin. The 1995 Washington quarter is no exception. A variety of minting errors have been identified, some of which make the 1995 quarter worth far more than the standard 25 cents. One of the most interesting errors to look out for in the 1995 Washington quarter is the double die variety. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a misalignment or a double impression, which leads to double details on the coin. The double die error on a 1995 quarter usually shows up most prominently in the lettering, such as the Liberty inscription or the date itself, where you can see a noticeable shift in the design. These doubled impressions are a result of an issue during the die creation process, and they are one of the most sought-after errors in coin collecting. The beauty of these errors lies in the fact that they are usually not obvious unless you know what to look for, which makes spotting one all the more thrilling. Another factor that can increase the value of a 1995 Washington quarter is its condition. Like many coins, the value is heavily influenced by how well the coin has been preserved. Quarters that are well struck and have retained their sharp, clean details are always more desirable. Coins in excellent condition, those that show little to no wear or damage, can command a much higher price. A 1995 quarter that has been graded highly by professional services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, will likely sell for a premium. Additionally, there are some special editions and variations of the 1995 Washington quarter, such as the ones minted as part of specific proof sets, that are also considered valuable. These proof coins are struck with greater precision and care, making them more aesthetically appealing and, in many cases, more collectible. If you're lucky enough to own one of these proof quarters from 1995 in near-perfect condition, it could be worth far more than a standard coin. But perhaps the most striking example of a valuable 1995 Washington quarter comes from the rarer error coins, like the double die variety mentioned earlier. As with any error coin, the rarity and the condition play a huge role in determining its worth, and the 1995 quarters that feature these mistakes are highly coveted by serious collectors. Some of these coins have sold for impressive prices at auction, far exceeding their face value. To put it into perspective, one particular 1995 Washington quarter, struck with a double die error, has been known to sell for a remarkable $34,000. That's right, $34,000 for a coin that, to the untrained eye, might seem like just another 25-cent piece. It's a prime example of how even the most mundane coins can hold incredible value when the right conditions align. So, if you're someone who's interested in coins or just enjoys looking through your pocket change, don't overlook the 1995 Washington quarter. With a little knowledge and attention to detail, you might just come across a rare gem hiding in plain sight. Whether it's an error coin like the double die or a well-preserved proof version, the 1995 quarter could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Keep an eye out, because you could be holding on to a coin that's worth $34,000, and that's a find no collector would want to miss. Top 5. When most people think of a quarter, they likely don't give it much thought beyond its usual value of 25 cents. However, the 1970 Washington quarter dollar is one of those rare exceptions that can surprise you with its worth. While it might seem like a typical coin at first glance, the 1970 quarter actually holds special significance in the world of coin collecting, thanks to a set of circumstances that make it uniquely valuable. The 1970 Washington quarter was minted at a time when the U.S. Mint was still using the classic Washington design introduced in 1932. George Washington's profile graces the obverse, while the reverse features an eagle perched on a branch. While the design remained unchanged, what sets the 1970 Washington quarter apart from many others are the unique circumstances surrounding its production and some rare features that collectors are eager to get their hands on. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1970 Washington quarter is that it marks the last year of production for the standard 40% silver quarters, as they were phased out in 1971 in favor of the copper-nickel-clad version. This makes the 1970 quarter a transitional piece in American coinage, and this historical significance adds a layer of rarity to certain varieties. But what really makes the 1970 quarter interesting to collectors is the possibility of finding rare errors. In the world of numismatics, error coins are often the ones that fetch the highest prices, and the 1970 Washington quarter is no exception. These error coins come in various forms, but one of the most sought-after varieties is the double die error. A double die error occurs when the coin's design is struck more than once, resulting in a visible doubling of the image. In the case of the 1970 quarter, this error typically shows up on the date or the lettering on the obverse side, where you can see clear, doubled inscriptions. This type of minting mistake is incredibly rare, and as such, it significantly increases the coin's value. There are also other minor minting errors that can make the 1970 Washington quarter more valuable, such as slight misalignments or off-center strikes. While these errors are not as dramatic as the double die variety, they still make the coin unique and appealing to collectors who are always on the lookout for something unusual or out of the ordinary. Additionally, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. As with all coins, A well-preserved quarter in near-mint condition is far more valuable than one that's heavily worn or scratched. If you can find a 1970 Washington quarter with sharp, crisp details, free from significant damage or wear, it's likely to fetch a premium price. High-grade specimens are prized in the world of coin collecting, and this holds true for the 1970 quarter as well. Now, let's talk about the potential value of the 1970 Washington quarter. While most of these coins will circulate in everyday transactions or be found in people's change jars with little value beyond their face value of 25 cents, the rare error varieties and high-quality specimens can bring in impressive sums. The 1970 quarter with a double die error, especially one that has been professionally graded in excellent condition, can sell for thousands of dollars at auction. And while you might not expect a standard 1970 quarter to be worth much, the most notable examples, especially those with significant errors or minting anomalies, can command eye-popping prices. One particular 1970 Washington quarter, featuring a rare double die error, has been known to fetch as much as $77,000. Yes, you heard that right. $77,000 for a coin that most people would simply overlook as just another quarter. Finding a 1970 Washington quarter with one of these rare errors is incredibly exciting for collectors, and even the slightest hint of a double die or minting mistake can be enough to send the value soaring. If you're someone who enjoys searching through your change or collecting coins, keeping an eye out for these rarer varieties could lead to a discovery that turns a simple quarter into a small fortune in the end. The 1970 Washington quarter proves that even the most unassuming coins can hold incredible value. While most people are content to let these quarters slip by unnoticed, collectors who know where to look can uncover pieces of American history that are worth far more than their face value. Whether it's a double die error or a high-grade specimen, the 1970 Washington quarter is a coin that could potentially make you a substantial profit. And with the possibility of finding one worth $77,000, it might just be worth a second look the next time you reach into your pocket for change.